Hi, everyone. My name is Matt. I'm the founder of Progression, the TikTok Alumni Fund. We've been supporting the TikTok alumni community with regular events, and this is a new segment that we're creating called Alumni Spotlight. We're showcasing some of the alumni that's been building companies and active in our community. And today I've invited Stefan to join us. He's going to be our first guest to tell us a little bit about himself.
Yeah, hey everyone. Stefan. I joined TikTok or ByteDance pretty early on when it wasn't even called ByteDance or TikTok. It was called Musically in the end of 2016.
Fantastic. I guess like originally, how did you discover Musically? Because before you were at what was it, YouTube and Google,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, I started my career at in the creator economy, I guess, when it was not called creator economy, and I worked at YouTube on new product launches, so always the V1s of new products at YouTube, including like YouTube Premium, Kids, Music, when YouTube started getting competition. And during that time, between 2015 and 16 is when I started seeing Musically, Dub Smash, Triller, like the first short form video apps as well, and like some meetings, and it came up as a new format basically. And yeah, someone reached out from Musically at the time, and I keep chatting with them that they were looking for their first go-to-market hire, and tried to like, you know, make the first sickness that they saw in like the US, like scale that, like, and create a playbook for that growth, like outside. And so I was excited to join when it was still fairly small. I think we were like 10 people in Santa Monica, and maybe 50 in Shanghai.
So that was just after they moved from SF to Santa Monica, right?
Yeah, I also left the Bay Area for Musically slash like TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever think that it would get as big as it has become?
Um, Funny enough, when I did my interview about Musically, and they told me the vision, like Alex Zhu, like also said early on, like it should be all kinds of. We want to be the mobile YouTube, right? That was, I think, what people
Yes.
wanted to do. He's like, and I was like, really? And then it's called Musically. Like that's one vertical. Like how does that make sense? Funny enough, a few years later, after the acquisition, I had the job to actually work on renaming it. But yeah, like I think the idea was there from early on, right? To be, like the mobile YouTube, like vertical video. No one was talking about vertical video at the time. Like that
Yes.
was
Yeah.
really what the um, the claim to success was. And if you ask me, like, if I would have thought it would be as big, I mean, even after ByteDance acquired Musical.ly and we renamed it to TikTok, we were like 1 month from launching TikTok, and Instagram came out with Reels. And so
Yes.
out of a sudden, there was like this huge industry incumbent, launching vertical video and making it all up like vertical video is the new thing. And I think that's when I think, honed even more into like the time aspect that was different, right? Because they also had vertical
Yes.
video. And at that point, I would have said, I would have not guessed that we can like beat Instagram and Reels because it was still ByteDance was a big company in China, but in the Western world was still so small, right? And like it's been the first, I guess, Chinese company really that like made such a huge consumer product happen in all of the Western world. So I said at that point, no, I wouldn't have guessed that we can win against Instagram. But I think fairly quickly, I think we proved the world different, which was
Fantastic.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I guess like, the first, when it was only 10 people in Santa Monica, what was it like? Like, was it vibrant, exciting? Like, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think we had a very, very lively space. It was very collaborative, very fun. I think it really, like for me, was everything that I've heard of from others who left Google to start startups and join startups. Like when I heard like the best stories, I was like, oh, when am I gonna leave the big tech and join a startup? And I think all my dream came true. I think in the early Musically days in terms of like the kind of dynamics and collaboration you want to have with a small team that is like moving fast. And it was very, very fun. Everyone was very smart, and and driven, and have like lots of self
Mhm.
drive. And we were like in touch with the creators all the time, even though we work across
Yes.
growth and product. Like everything was very collaborative. And I remember with WeChat, like in huge groups, like like very open, very communicative, and we were like deep in shaping what the product becomes, but also it's super in touch with the creators because they came over every single Friday into the office, and all the desks went to the side, and we were like fully immersed into like the culture and what is actually happening, and being like really close to what creators want, and build together with them, which was really exciting.
Yeah. That was actually one of the keys to success, right? Really like spending a lot of time with the creators, making them almost like we called them muses back in the day, right? And
Right.
like really
Yes.
built a community there almost.
Yes. Yes. I think I heard from some VCs talk about how brand is important early on. I think musically is like the prime example for that, right? I think for some time, the Musically T-shirt was the number one selling branded shirt on Amazon, higher than any other like other brand, which is pretty wild. So I think for a specific type and tribe of people, this had a massive cultural impact already at that time.
For sure. I still have mine. I got mine for free.
Yeah.
So I guess after the acquisition, so spending time at TikTok, then did you spend some time in China
Yeah.
in Beijing?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah. So I've always said that I feel like I was very lucky to be at the right place at the right time, and I guess I've done some good work. And the founder of Musically, like Alex, introduced me to lots of the leadership team in Beijing at that time. And um, given I think also my background at YouTube and Google, like I guess I checked the boxes to what the ByteDance profile was. I guess that happens always when you go from startup into like bigger tech company. I think everyone I found when I went to Beijing the first time was like, it reminded me a lot of Google. I think the quality at ByteDance in terms of people was already so high. And it was like really amazing to be working with really great people, which you don't always have in a startup in the same, right, as in a bigger company where the vetting process is even harder. So I think I was very, very excited about the uh, the intelligence factor in terms of what people were doing. And it's funny, like it was a lot of work, I think, man and machine, even with the machine learning teams early on, together to actually make it work. Because when people talk about the TikTok algorithm nowadays, the TikTok algorithm at the first year was not that great. And we showed a lot of the wrong content to the wrong people. And so it's been a lot of work in terms
Right.
of like early AI, really in 2017, 18 to like get it right. But yeah, really, it was really fun. I mean, I studied 3 times abroad in college in exchanges, and two of them in Asia. So it
Okay.
was exciting, not in China though, but so it was exciting to see how does China tech work really, and how the paradigms or the principles or like how people work and what they do very different from the Bay Area. So I think that was like really, really exciting to me.
Mm. Did you speak Mandarin?
I don't, and I got Mandarin lessons. I speak a couple of European languages, but I'm not as skilled with Chinese.
This is
It's a
very
pity,
hard. It's
but
very
yeah,
hard.
yeah. But
Well,
we had classes in the office like twice a week, which I did, which was fun. Yeah,
that's great. That's great. I guess after post ByteDance, TikTok, etc., you decided to go the entrepreneurship route.
yeah.
So what brought you down that path?
Yeah, so even after the acquisition, I think our leadership team was still fairly small, right? Vanessa was like just joined, and Plague, and so there was like still a very, very small team of people that were actually like starting to to run the new TikTok. And building up the marketing organization has been really fun. But I think over some time, I saw again, it felt like YouTube to me again, and I realized I think I love startups and I love early stage. And I found one thing I think that I really wanted to build, which I think TikTok has been so centered around audios and music. And so for me at the time, I just, during my time at TikTok, I found the insight of like, why is it so hard that anyone can just make a song or an audio themselves that can actually go viral? And I wanted to make song creation as simple as video creation. And that's why I got the idea for my first startup then. I left to start doing that, but ultimately got I guess snagged up by the Cameo CEO to like
That's
be a
right. Yes.
CMO at Cameo for another year, which was great and another good experience because it was like also marketplace and it was personalized video. I would always say that is like the precedent to like AI video because you could get personalized videos, just had to pay for them. Um, but yes, I wanted to do that for a while, and through that time, I was part of the board meetings and I met all the investors, which I didn't have any exposure to before, and so that was super helpful on my journey to becoming a founder and a builder in my own company. Um, and I got all my first investors through my Cameo connections as well.
Ah.
So that was like very, very helpful. And the CEO was like the first angel check in, etc. So it was like really good. And then I finally could, when this pandemic hit, I finally started with my co-founder at the time, Meg, under the premise that we wanted to democratize song creation the same way as video was possible. And yeah, did that for 5 years. We built many different prototypes and pivots. I think in total it was like 10. But that's how it is. And we try to be
Yes.
speedy with like new ideas. And, in January 2023, we launched our first AI music product. That was like way before Suno and Udio. That was boomy at that time. But yeah, it was like there was no 11 Labs, there was no voice AI or anything yet, and so we like jumped pretty quickly on it. And we had several viral successes in terms of like tools, like with Covers.ai, Drake.ai, Fake AI, Popstars. We had a lot of like different like culture products that went viral. Yeah, and then ultimately we sold our tech to a couple of different companies end of 2025.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Awesome. That's great. What would you say was a big lesson that you learned from building your first company?
Yeah, that timing is really, really important. I always thought like if you're good at operations and executing, that is really important, and you just got to stay persistent. But I think also timing really matters. And I think a lot of times with builders and entrepreneurs, sometimes or tinkerers, we see things before the masses are ready for them. And I think
Yes.
that's that's really important to get a feeling of like where, yes, what opportunity do I see, and when is the right time to actually start that, and when does the zeitgeist and the culture actually pick up and is ready for that to happen. I think that's a factor I did not know at that time how important that was. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
would you say like if you started a bit later,
Yeah.
maybe you were too early. You were too
Yes.
early in
Too
the
early. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. And
Got
I
it.
mean, it's really been last year, really, where like AI music now exploded, right?
Yeah.
But at that time, we were
Exactly.
like so deep in, and I think especially like innovators, like let's keep moving on and not doing the same thing forever. So I think that's yeah, I would say for sure, like thinking about timing is really really
Yeah.
important.
Makes a lot of sense. What are you working on now?
Yeah. So after we sold like some of our tech, I've been consulting and migrating the tech to some of the startups. Like one of the startups that bought some of our tech has been PPS, another like musically or TikTok alumni company. And so we're thinking a lot about how can autonomous social media look like, or like what does social media look like in a world where anyone can generate content, anyone can be a creator, and the camera doesn't have to be on anymore. And in a world where we're now moving even from generative AI to agentic AI, where you might not even need the person to be the one that actually presses generate, right? But it's more like how does IP, how do characters in a post social media world look like where everything is generative, and how can you create like almost autonomous social media, not just autonomous content but autonomous social media where you breathe life into characters and creators, because now anyone can be anyone on the internet. And I think it's a huge paradigm shift, even in terms of control that you had as a creator versus letting go of control and maybe letting your autonomous character like live online. So I think
Yeah.
that's a lot of that's in terms of the space I'm thinking a lot about. And the second thing is like, how do startups actually work in terms of not just in terms of automating lots of code and setting that up more autonomously and working through like agentic teams and like very small teams with a lot of agent power on the engineering side, but also on the operations side and growth side. I think on the product side, because there's so many new ways where you can um, connect, like your mix panel or your amplitude, like with Cloud Code, and like you connect it and you get a lot of like optimizations out of that. So you can spend less time on the obvious things that you need to optimize, but more on like the innovations and what you need to drive. And so yeah, I've been like very deep in OpenClaw. Like when it came out, we all got make me step into OpenClaw. I feel like I have a parasocial relationship with my OpenClaw at this point in time, because it really feels like managing a team of like you have like a main agent and you build like sub agents, and you can just get so much done. I think it's like really exciting time when you think about. I think there's two types of people in terms of psychographics. There is like perfectionists and there's generalists. I think perfectionists are having a harder time doing AI, but generalists are like so empowered now because you can, as long as you can describe what you want to do, you can do it. There's really nothing you cannot do anymore. And so I think 2026 is a very, very exciting year where like how we work is changing and a lot of paradigms are shifting in terms of user behaviors as well. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to see much more exciting consumer starting to happen this year
Mm,
after a few years of infrastructure build up.
yeah. So do you
Yeah.
think timing, like you mentioned, timing is so important? Do you think this is the
Yes.
window?
Yeah, so I think when I said timing, I think like to double click on that, I think riding a wave is really important. I think riding a wave doesn't necessarily mean copying others and just swimming along. But I think I compare this usually to music. Um, the artists can decide if an artist wants to be an artist or if they want to be successful and popular. I think that same is true for an entrepreneur. They can decide if they want to be um, just doing whatever they want to do, or if they want to like ride a zeitgeist wave that is happening right now. And so I think at the moment that is, it was generative media was like 2 or 3 years ago that I did with myself. I think now it's agentic, for example, and world models. And so like if you jump on that and you're building that, it's just helpful because VCs want to invest in terms of what is basically talked about at the
Yeah.
moment, what's novel. So I think you have an advantage there in terms of fundraising, but you also have an advantage in terms of like bringing innovative products to the market because it's truly novel at that point, and you're using something that people hear about a little bit, and then if you can find like your industry and your niche and you make it work for that, it's just you get guaranteed distribution and attention for that. And honestly, it's all about attention for startups ultimately.
Yeah.
So it
Totally.
helps. It helps.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. We're obviously an investor in people. So we wish you guys major success. Let's build it bigger than TikTok. Um, I guess final question. So we've got a pretty exciting TikTok alumni community, a lot of builders and potential founders in there. Besides, I guess, timing, do you have any advice for any alumni that's leaving to TikTok or ByteDance to start companies?
I mean, I would highly encourage it. I think just being a founder, I think has opened up a very different perspective to tech. I'm in San Francisco now again, like where I worked at YouTube. I think the time working in a big company in the Bay Area, even versus like being a founder is very different because you connect with so many other founders and entrepreneurs. And it's a very, very exciting community, especially for people on, I think, on an emotional level, on an intellectual level, in terms of like a mover doer kind of level. So I think there's always like I'm here at GDC at the moment. I've met so many other founders, and it's like really exciting. And people are super helpful to each other. I think you can ask any founder, and they will probably help you in one way or the other and connect with another person. So the network, I think, is really good. So I can highly encourage people to take what they've learned and do it, and find something that they're passionate about and build it themselves. the big tech path is always open again. I think a lot of people are like lost builders, right? I don't think there's any loss, even if things go um, sideways and not with the ultimate outcome. I think it's a really good path that I can just recommend to anyone to go through. And it's a good self-discovery journey if you realize, people dream about having a startup and you do it and you realize, oh, is that what I want to do or not? And I think it's good to, go through when you take through all the different stages of startups as well. Like, because some people are better in early stage and some people better at growth stage and some people
Yeah.
are better after pre-PMF, post-PMF. I think just finding that out for yourself where you really excel and you shine, I think is a great discovery for anyone's career and in general. Um, and ultimately, I think specifically the ByteDance alumni or the TikTok alumni network, I think we've all experienced AI or like machine learning
Uh,
at a
it's
very
the
early,
core user experience, right?
yeah, it's a very early point, right? Like people talk about AI now, but like the Spotify algorithm and the TikTok algorithm, I mean, all of that, why it's been so successful is because it leveraged like what people talking about the last 3 years, like pretty early on. And I think we have a very unique advantage because a lot of people talk about how every company needs to be a media company now. And that's true because in terms of growth, like really what works other than paid ads, you really need to be good at content and you need to break through attention. And I think anyone who's worked, in TikTok like understands, has a sense for that, and I think that's a very valuable skill as it comes to like not just building good products, but thinking about how I'm gonna get attention for my product as well when it's launched.
Fantastic. So to summarize, TikTok and ByteDance alumni are perfectly positioned to build the next wave of consumer AI companies. Is that
100%,
is that right?
100%, 100%. Yes. Yes. I'd love to see way more people like coming out of TikTok and ByteDance and build their own startups. And I met quite a few and they're all really exciting because I think everyone has seen, um, what could be done and how culture is moving. And I think that's a true advantage that people should make use of. And the network as well.
Yep. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stefan. This is really amazing that you take time out of your busy schedule to chat with us.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you at our next community event. I think we have one tomorrow, and then we're coming to LA end of the month for the How AI is Changing Media dinner. So look forward to seeing you there.
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Awesome.
Thanks for all the support for our network.